This video I'm about to show you should, in any reasonable world, end Tucker Carlson's career. Boom, gone, done. It won't, because the world is not reasonable, but it should. So get ready for this, but let me give you the context. One of the things that the right has obsessed over recently, and I know you know this, but is this grooming by the left of children, specifically LGBTQ people. They're groomers. And what we've talked about is grooming is a very real problem. In schools, even specifically as well. Child sexual assault is a very real problem. They're not trying to address that if they're making it the left wants to do this, or the LGBTQ community's agenda is to groom children. Absolutely not. Incredibly dishonest talking point and dangerous. But this video that was put together is trying to highlight the fact that clearly people like Tucker Carlson, who have made this their issue, don't actually care about real grooming or real protection of underage individuals within a sexual context, because they have had him specifically, troubling remarks in the past on these types of issues. Take a look at this.
The media have no interest in covering the sexualization of children.
Warren Jeff.
So let me start over so you know exactly where this is going and you're all prepared. It's going to go from one clip of him saying something about how, the left's trying to sexualize children, and then cut to a past statement he's made that shows his pretty vile stance on underage girls.
The media have no interest in covering the sexualization of children.
Warren Jeff didn't marry underage girls.
No, he's in prison for facilitation of child rape.
Whatever the hell that means, the rapist in this case has made a lifelong commitment to live and take care of the person.
Why would anyone defend this kind of behavior? Many are defending it, make no mistake. They're absolutely defending it.
I'm just telling you that arranging a marriage between a 16-year-old and a 27-year-old is not the same as pulling a stranger off the street and raping her. That's bullshit.
Protecting children from adults who want to sexually exploit them is a basic human instinct, and it's a noble instinct.
And these little girls start experimenting around. Next thing you know, Brett, what's going on in the Combe dormitory? Nothing. I don't got a PSP to play. I ain't got nothing going on. I ain't got my mom and dad here to tell me that they love me and tuck me in bed. So here's Trixie, and she wants to explore my body a little bit. So, hey, let's go crazy. Wow.
That, if it weren't my daughter,
That's one theory.
Here you have...
I know that was hard to hear because it's all muffled. What he said there, the guy's laying out how, I guess, boarding schools are bad because 14-year-old girls experiment with each other. And Tucker Carlson says, we're talking about 14-year-old girls, guys, having some sexual relations with each other. And he says, if it wasn't my daughter, I'd love that. A 14-year-old girl.
A major international retail brand promoting kiddie porn and sex with children, and not promoting it subtly, but right out in the open.
Now, what do you do at night when you're in when you're all by yourself in a lonely ass town? Well, obviously, you went to dinner last night. Met that good.
Kidding? I order up like 15 teenage hookers in a hot tub.
That's pretty weird when you think about it. In fact,
I order up 15 teenage hookers in a hot tub. Now, of course, that example could be a 19-year-old, technically over age, but just zero in on we're talking about 14-year-old girls sexually, and he says, if it wasn't my daughter, I'd love that. And he's now making himself out to be the anti-sexualization of minors person. This should prove to all the people what we've been telling them. The leaders you hear who are trying to exploit your hatred, if we give them the most benefit of the doubt possible, their genuine hatred for child sexual assaulters or pedophiles. Because what I've talked about before is any reasonable person very much dislikes and hates pedophiles, child, sexual assaulters, or even people who have the goal of sexualizing children. And so if you can pull from that in someone, you can get them to have a lot of hateful energy towards your opposition. So that's the goal, right? And what I beg people to understand is we can have a real conversation about child sex trafficking and all of these issues that do matter. But first, you got to stop listening to people who only want to talk about this conversation within the context of attacking the other side with just complete baseless accusations. And so right there you see Tucker Carlson is a great example of this. He proves through what he says now, because he knows it'll stoke fear and anger among his base, and what he said before when that wasn't his goal, when he was just sharing his disgusting views on underage girls. Like I said before, no one should watch him after this. Not only is it gross and disgusting, the views he has, but also it shows you he's a complete hypocrite and a complete liar, and everything he stoked up in your heart that made you want to watch him previously was just founded on a lie. But it won't. People will still go to him. If they saw this, they would come up with some reason why it was okay, and the cycle continues. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to be a part of what makes this show possible, plus get access to the full video version of the show hours before any of the clips are uploaded to YouTube, plus get access to an extra full show every Saturday that only members can see, you can do so by going to patreon.com/Luke Beasley. That's patreon.com/Luke Beasley, and there is a link in the description.